One of the dudes that was there was the engineer, and that I work with now.
Yeah.
And I jump in, and at first I was just warming up. I spit like a freestyle, and the dude was messing with me, and he went over and he introduced himself, and he was still watching me. And then I wrote a verse to a song they were working on, and I jumped on the song and I recorded it right there. And the dude, he was like, "Hey, bro, my crib's right here. You can slide through whenever. What's up with you? Like, what's good? We need to work." And he's an engineer, and I've been working with him ever since.
Damn, bro. So that's how your cousin Mikey, right?
Yeah, my cousin plugged it. My cousin bought the studio.
Were you originally like, was he booking the studio for you, or did he know there's gonna be like that whole click thing?
Well, he raps, and he has a couple of homies that rap, and
you kind of just tagged along.
It was like he was thinking of getting his homies were getting time, and then he was like, "All right, I'll throw extra time, and you guys make some time for my cousin," you know?
Yeah.
And fucking.
Definitely, bro.
It was crazy.
Well, yeah, bro. I remember. Well, personally, what's up, guys? Welcome to another Heist on the Knowledge Heist podcast. I got a special guest to my right here. He's gonna introduce himself right now shortly. Just wanna once again thank everyone who's watching, listening, wherever you're doing, however you're doing it. Just keep doing it, keep striving. So we're here with Efrain Amezcua. Goes by the artist name F. Rapper based out of Hollister, California. Been collabing out in Santa Barbara. I'm gonna let him introduce himself, bro. Welcome to the show, man.
Happy to be here, fruit to my chair spinning.
It's like that, bro.
But my name's F. Like he said, I'm a rapper out of Hollister. I'm also a student.
That's right.
In Santa Barbara, and a student of this world.
That's right, bro.
And we're here to have a conversation.
That's right. There you go, man. So, see, like the thing is, like, I want to have these conversations, keep it casual. Let's pick his brain, pick his mind, see what he got to share. So, right now you said you're a student, bro. I know that personally, but I know sometimes we talk about it. Like right now, so the music and then being the student part. It's like being a student athlete, bro. How do you balance it, man? How do you balance your school and then like, all right, let me go hit the studio without grades falling or keeping up with the curve of the school system, bro?
No, yeah, for real, bro. And unfortunately, I tend to like switch between modes. Like I'll be in music mode, and then I'll write like 3 songs in like 2 days. But in those 2 days, I didn't do any work, you know. And then I'll go in school mode for like 2 weeks, and I'm just making sure I'm getting everything done. And I barely wrote any music, you know.
Yeah.
But
do you get kind of like, do you feel like, damn, bro? Like sometimes when you are doing this, suppose you're focusing on your schoolwork. Like, I could be doing music.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. Sometimes when you're putting too much time into music, do you feel like, fuck, man, I'm still here at school? Like, you kind of have to retract yourself.
Yeah, it for sure it gets me like that because, I don't know, like, when I'm writing music, when I have my music days, like, I don't know, the school shit, I'm so over it, you know? And then it ends up to where I let shit get up a little bit. And I gotta just be knocking out school shit hard because I'm a little bit behind and I don't really have time to make music. But towards the end of this past school year, I've been learning, just how much easier shit could be with time management.
Yeah, bro.
Chipping away at shit little by little, and then you end up with all kinds of fucking time.
Definitely, bro. How about when you're working on something, bro? Like, when you're working the music, bro? Is your mind like, fuck, I should be doing homework? Or like when you're doing homework, should I be doing music? Like, are you present? I mean, especially I want to talk more about the music because if you're present, I feel like you do your best work. So
yeah.
Your mind's not cluttered with like, fuck, I should be doing homework. I should be doing this. It's like you clock in, like, don't bug me. Or how do you balance that, bro?
I mean, I don't get all crazy like, no entry zone, don't bug me, like, don't bang my line. Like, nah, it's all good. But I'm very present. Like, I get kind of like captivated if something's truly like intriguing me, I could like get into flow with it, but I don't ever really, with the music for sure, not like I'm not ever thinking, oh damn, I could really be knocking out some physics right now, like nah.
No, yeah, definitely.
It's more like, all right, I'm gonna have less time later to do my physics, but as long as this takes, is like I'm gonna sit my ass right here,
You're taking it serious. Yeah, bro.
And
what about, talk about, I mean, you're out in Santa Barbara, bro, and you're not too far from LA. You recording out in LA, right?
Yeah.
Talk about that, bro. Talk about that journey. How were you able to network that way?
Well,
what happened? Santa Barbara.
What happened was that my cousin, my cousin Mikey, he lives in LA, and he put money up for me to go record in a studio in Hollywood, and I had never been. You know, it was my first time. I come in and there's a booth and shit, like a window. I'm like,
it's all legit.
Hold up, bro. Like, what in the hell? And but my cousin Mikey paid for a couple hours for us to go in there, and then a bunch of people start pulling up, and I was like, damn, what the hell? Like, I don't know where there was like 12 people in the session, and I'm not really, I guess that's how shit goes. Like, when you start moving up to the real studios, you might, like, people have a party there. Everybody you fuck with, you know, like, all your main heads are gonna be right there, like, in the studio with you. But when we were there, and they started turning it into, like, kind of like a party, and one of the dudes that was there was the engineer and that I work with now.
Yeah.
And I jump in, and at first I was just warming up. I spit like a freestyle, and the dude was messing with me, and he went over and he introduced himself, and then he was still watching me. And then I wrote a verse to a song they were working on, and I jumped on the song and I recorded it right there. And the dude, he was like, hey bro, my crib's right here, you can slide through whenever. What's up with you? Like, what's good? We need to work. And he's an engineer, and I've been working with him ever since.
Damn, bro. So that's how your cousin Mikey, right?
Yeah, my cousin plugged it. My cousin bought the studio.
Were you originally, like, was he booking the studio for you, or did he know there's gonna be like that whole click thing?
Well, he raps, and he has a couple of homies that rap, and
you kind of just tagged along.
It was like he was thinking of getting his homies were getting time, and then he was like, all right, I'll throw extra time, and you guys make some time for my cousin, you know?
Yeah.
And fucking.
Definitely, bro.
It was crazy.
Well, yeah, bro. I remember. Well, personally, when I first heard the tracks you dropped on the first EP you dropped, bro, I was like, bro, this guy has quality, like, sound now. You've always had the bars, but now you got the production, bro. And I think that's what really, like, I could see the improvement. Like, okay, this guy's doing moves, bro. So how can you explain, bro? Like, did you feel that yourself? Like, dude, my music could be a lot better if I sounded better, in the sense, not that, like, oh, auto-tune that shit or, like, make me sound good. It's like, no, how can I lay something good and have an engineer do that shit for me? Like, how do you feel about that, bro?
Nah, for real. Like, definitely, audio quality, it can be a huge boundary. Like, it's an obstacle for anybody who wants to get into music. Like, there's a significant level of proficiency in any kind of, like, digital, like, audio workstation or whatever they call them, DAWs. But you got to know how to use whichever one you're going to use. You got to know how to use it pretty well to get a song sounding, like, good, like what we think is good, when the sounds are properly spaced out and the bass is where the bass should feel, you know, where you feel it in the fucking seat, and, and where the hi-hats are actually up there and the vocals are sitting in the middle. Like, that takes proficiency. You got to know what's good. You got to start thinking of frequencies, and, like, there's, you know, it's engineering, it's audio engineering, and so it's a huge obstacle. Like, me and my homies were kind of, like, tweaking around on the homie's MacBook, and, like, we sounded, you know?
But you were doing it though, bro. I think that's the important part, bro. Like, although, like you said, the sound quality wasn't quite there, but what I really, if you look back in hindsight, bro, what I really, like, admire, and this is, like, part of what my goal is with this show, as you can tell, bro, like, I got just a MacBook on a stool right here, bro. It's not that, you know, there's no fucking, I got one camera. You just do it, bro. I could be waiting right now, like, oh, I'm gonna wait till I get a cool studio. I'm gonna wait till I get a cool setup before I start my podcast. Then I'm never gonna do it, bro, because I'm gonna be aiming for perfection. So what I admire from you, bro, is that you started making music even though it could sound way better. You just kept doing it. Like you said right now, you're just messing around with a MacBook. But now look at you, bro. You got the studio. If you would have waited till you go to Santa Barbara and, like, all right, I'm just gonna wait, see what happens, go to that studio. Who knows if you would have dropped that type of music? You know what I mean? So talk about that, bro. How long have you been doing music, and then what would you rate your improvement so far? I've heard you rap, bro. I mean, I met you back in high school. I remember in the locker room, bro. We were getting ready for PE, and you were just messing around, bro. I'm like, bro, this fool's fucking good, bro. Like, this guy could spit and off top, bro. And then come now, bro, full circle. It's like you're still doing music. Talk about that, bro. How long have you been doing it? When was, like, I want to take this serious, and then the creative process? It's actually hella funny, bro. Like, I never thought I was gonna be, like, I've always loved music like crazy. And like, music's really important to me. Like, definitely, like, if I ever feel down or whatever, I just go sit in my car, you know, and I just listen to some music, bro. Sometimes it's even sad music, makes you feel better in a weird way, you know. But I never thought I would be making music, and it wasn't until senior year that I actually was like, okay, I'm gonna try making a song. And I never put together that, like,
I don't know, maybe I'd want to do it. I really liked rap. And then that PE class was like one of the only places like where I would actually like just be throwing out bars, you know, we would be throwing bars out as like joke bars. And I had fun making, like, I liked refining the lyric. I like, you know, all right, this is the first word I got to use, and then what word am I going to use here? I could fucking use anything, you know? And it was fun. It was a little mini game, and I'd run through the alphabet and like, all right, try to find words that rhyme. And then when it came to senior year, I was just at my friends. I don't know how PG we trying to keep it.
Nah, bro, talk shit, bro.
But I was at my homies, and we were just burning it, and but that was when I had barely really started smoking, so I was hella high. And and I'm sitting there, and 2 Chainz had just dropped "Watch Out." I don't know if you know that song. Watch out a little bit. Watch out. Yeah. But you getting mad. But anyways, he had just dropped that, and he plays it, and I'm like, damn, bro, this song sounds like it'd be hard to rap on. But I had never tried rapping, never tried writing a verse.
You just kind of just thought to yourself.
I was like, this song, this beat sounds like it would be dope to like rap on, you know? And so the homie throws on the beat. And so I just started rapping, and he was like, he told me, he was like, freestyle. And I was like, what, freestyle?
Yeah.
He was like, nah, just do it. Just go. It's just us, you know? And I was like, fuck it. And so I started freestyling, and like the first time I went for like 2 minutes, you know.
Just nonstop?
And they were like, "Foo, what?" You know? And I was like, "Foo, I don't know." You know? And
that's funny, bro. And that's kind of where it started?
Yeah, and then that same day,
that was your first time recording?
First time. And that same day, I recorded a track, and it was so garbage. And now that I look back, it's hilarious. But I freestyled like a 2.5 minute track. It wasn't good, you know, but that's how I just got, you know, the most important thing with freestyling, I always tell people, bro, just keep going. It doesn't matter what you're saying. Just keep going and you'll get better.
Of course.
Like, even if you're just saying jibber jabber and making the sounds, you know, start scatting. It doesn't matter. Scoop back, you know, but just keep it going and you'll improve. You'll start, you know, flowing your thoughts together.
Definitely, bro. You talked about that a little bit before we started rolling, bro, about the whole freestyling thing. And talk about that, bro. I asked you, do you freestyle most of your stuff, or do you actually write things down? And go ahead and explain that, bro.
Yeah, well, like I told you, I mean, I freestyle. Freestyling is very important to me. It's what I did way before I wrote a rap for like 6 months. After that day, I just started freestyling. That day at my homies that I was telling you about. And every time we would smoke together, I'd freestyle. And I didn't actually write a song for a while, but I would just freestyle all the time until it got to be like now, like I said, I rarely miss a day, you know. I do it pretty much every day. I take some time, at least 5-10 minutes, you know. Or when I'm driving by myself, I'm always freestyling.
Yeah.
Listening to new music, if I like the beat, I don't know where I'll start spitting over the person that I like, you know. But but
you feel like it keeps you on top of your game, bro? Like,
bro.
Like it's like, for example, I gave you the analogy: someone that's a bodybuilder goes to the gym to get stronger. Freestyling is your gym.
Same thing, bro. Yeah.
Keeps you on top of your game.
Mental exercise.
Definitely.
Mental exercise.
Do you ever feel, bro, like, do you get writer's block? Or do you get, like, stuck, bro, sometimes? And like, damn, bro, I gotta take a break? Or what do you do in those instances, if you have ever been in that position?
I try to look at it all analytically, bro. I don't even know if that's the right word, but I break it down for what's actually happening here, like objectively, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so an objective viewpoint.
Yeah, okay. And so I always, when I work on music, I work on it line by line. Always, I try not to think bigger picture. I try not to think bigger picture than that, and I try not to let the verse, you know, like, sit in stone, so I could still rearrange shit.
I see, bro.
Because with any verse of 16, they could be in any fucking order. You know? So sometimes it's a question of maybe those first 3 lines should be swapped with lines 9 through 12 or whatever, or 9 through 11.
That's interesting, bro. That's always been your process.
Yeah,
it's cool, bro, because I feel like you're taking something. Like, I think the word you used was right, bro. It's analytical. It's like you lay something down, you dissect it, and you move things around.
Yeah.
I think that's cool, bro, because I feel like you think like that in everyday life, bro, and you see those patterns in music.
Yeah.
Because, dude, you're a smart guy, bro, and like, you see patterns, bro. And I think that's what helps you with your music. And right now you just explained that, bro. That's interesting. Elaborate on that, bro, because how have you seen, like, your music develop before you, bro, and how the quality based on that method? Like, what, you know what I'm asking?
No, yeah.
How does that help you become a better rapper, bro?
Bro, I mean, first of all, I feel like it definitely helps me. It for sure helps me because at the moment I try to, you know, I've been trying to spread myself. like, and cover as many different things. I go in the studio, like, what have I not made yet? And when it comes down to writing something in each of these different types, you know, you don't want to write the same way that you wrote for like a Lil Wayne bars track. For now that you know you're going softer and slower or whatever, you know, you want to be writing in a different style, accomplishing different things with your sentences, you know. And so when I break it down to just, all right, well, you know, let's not get overwhelmed by this style that's not as much in my wheelhouse, you know. It's still just one line at a time. That's where we're at. So all right, let's start out with one, and if I don't like, I won't keep going until I find a good first line. Sometimes I'll play a beat, like I know I like a beat, but it took me like 3 or 4 times listening to it to actually start writing, because I would just freestyle, but I know that if I'm not starting with something good, then what am I building on?
Exactly.
You know? Okay. So I'm not just gonna throw some random bar down and then start seeing where it takes me. Nah, I'm gonna keep freestyling. That's where I'm seeing where it takes me. I'm still brainstorming, you know. And I'll just keep freestyling, and then when I find something with some kind of value, you know, that I actually like, then I start. You know, and just one bar at a time, and from there, you know, find something that matches with there, find something that moves in parallel.
Of course, that's crazy, bro. The patterns, bro, and like you said, I feel like I could have asked you, like, do you freestyle most of your stuff, or do you write shit down? And like, honestly, bro, I start freestyling to get like the reference track going. Sometimes I do keep the bars, but like you mentioned, bro, it's the quality you're trying to put out. So what do? You go back in there, like, I think these 2 filler bars can come out. Let me write something solid for that.
That's the thing, bro. Is like like I told you in the track, like I believe, you know, your freestyled work won't ever be obvious. Like there's no possible way that you could freestyle something and that'll be better than what would happen if you went back and reflected over that and polished it.
Have you discussed that with other rappers before, bro? Like, and what? Like
a little bit, bro. There was like one person. There was this dude I was working with down south, and he wanted to collab, and we went in the studio and he wrote like 12 bars or something, and he recorded them. And then that was it. He was done with it. Like, that was it. And I was like, but the thing is, he had written it right there with me. Like, we were right there, and he just wrote them once, recorded them, and he was done.
One and done.
I was just like, that, like, I kind of started talking to him a little bit about it, but he wasn't. I could tell right away that his mindset was entirely different. He was on to the next thing. And I was
like, he just laid down the verse and that's it.
Yeah, like, that's all so I almost didn't really like feel like even getting into it. So I haven't really held to talk to people about it, but to me, it's just like, you know, even if you only. And it's not like I sit there and take forever and listen to things hella times, but like 1 or 2 glosses over doesn't take much, you know, to figure out, oh, that was a weak bar. Like, you know which ones get you really excited, right? You know which ones you're really proud of. You're like, oh, I really like line 3 and line 9 and line 14. You know, I know that because I want you to hear it and I'm going to repeat it. You know, but what about the ones I talked over? Yeah, but we're not going to, you know, I'm not going to revisit that. Like, you know which ones were the best, so that has to mean that the other ones that you didn't want to celebrate as much, even if they weren't bad, they're not as strong. So why not make the whole thing strong?
Exactly.
You know, why not keep continuing to cut out things until you have them all to where you want to repeat every line, to where you want to turn up the fucking volume, you know? Like,
make them go back and like, re-listen to that. That's crazy, bro, because I personally, dude, like I told you in the truck, bro, like there's bars you say in there, bro, that I have to go back. I'm like, what the fuck, bro? That's hard, bro, because there's not so much that I feel, I'm kind of leading to this, bro. So I'm going to piggyback off of that, but your style of music is not necessarily like, for example, right now I think what's popular is that trap vibe, you know? You're coming off of tough, you know, you sell drugs, you talk about girls, but like your music is more like, it's like a fun, there's a fun like tone to it, bro. I don't want to discredit your music. I'm not saying
hey, you ain't going to hurt my feelings,
but it's like, bro, like this is like, just like, it's like good music, you know what I mean? And like you say bars in there that just like, bro, the play on words here, bro, is like really good. I don't think some people don't understand it because, like you said, they might have missed that bar. Or they might have not listened, or they were talking over, or, you know, they just didn't capture it. And that's what I like about your music, bro, because I feel like I know you personally. I'm like, bro, you're, like, again, bro, I always say you're a smart kid, bro, so in your bars, you're actually, like, fucking talking, like, high-level shit sometimes. I'm like, damn, bro, that's hard, dude.
and then, it's a risk you take that it might not go appreciated.
Yeah, bro, exactly.
But it is what it is, bro, and I've just kind of been trying to let my stuff speak for itself, you know. There's some content there. I'm proud of it. I won't say it's the best thing I'm capable of so far. Hell no, you know, definitely not. And I don't even know how many of these styles I actually like. Like I told you before, I'm just covering bases, making sure that people understand that I'm not just those first 4 tracks, or I'm not just any fucking, you know, it's not even, that's the crazy thing about it, is that it's not it's not the music for me. It won't ever be the one hit wonder, bro, because for me it's the process. It's the same process every time. I'm doing the same thing, you know?
Yeah, of course. I like that, bro. And like you talked about the whole, like the creative process, bro. You don't want to be branded as just those first four tracks. You want to show people that you're versatile, that you can spit on any bars, on any beat, on any flow, and like you're willing to expand yourself before you find like, all right, cool, this is where I want to improve myself, right, master this. So I like that, bro. And so we're gonna take a little break right now, bro. I like what you talked about, the whole creative process, your analytical like approach to your music, bro. After the break, I want to talk about more about like your upbringing, bro, and talk about like how you came to be, bro, like this person. So we'll be right back, bro. Stay tuned, and if you're listening to this, keep listening, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. We're back from our break. We're here with Efrain, aka F. We've talked a lot about his music process, the analytical approach to it, the different vibes he tries to give off his music, the process, how he started. But I kind of want to lean into like your upbringing, bro, and kind of see like what you still, how you came to be, and then what you still practice today. Like, I don't know, you learn things from your parents, you learn things on your own, like at school, whatever. I want to talk about your struggles and like what kind of things you face and how you overcame them. So first things first, bro, like I know like you grew up in a household, you have sisters, right?
So I have all kinds of sisters.
Yeah, bro. How does that like, how have you, in hindsight, bro, how do you like when you reflect back on like family and upbringing, bro, like was there anything that kind of almost like threw you in a dark hole? You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
did you ever face anything like being from a big family?
I mean, if anything, I faced, what it was to be the first son,
okay.
And then there's all these girls. And for the longest time, it wasn't until I was 11, almost 12, that I got a little brother.
Yeah.
But for the longest time, it was just everything that came with, being the boy. And, you weren't
feel like
going
it
to be...
shaped you different? And you to be different, or
in ways that I'm grateful for, I wouldn't want it any other way. I feel like I'm glad that I was able to, learn the things that I learned, and not that I say learned in a past tense, because I mean we're learning every day, And though nowadays, I've been more learning things from my grandparents, but I don't want to skip past, but just, being the boy in the family, especially with all the girls, I mean, it was harder. Everything was harder on me. They were harder on me about everything, like anything that they did wrong. If I did the same thing, I'm getting in more trouble,
Yeah.
And you're not ever getting like priority for anything, You got to learn to be patient. You might have to sit through 4 showers before you can shower.
Definitely, bro.
And that's just how the game goes.
So
you're gonna have to sit
That's
there.
cool you mentioned that, bro. The patience part. Because, like I totally understand that, bro. I mean, I understand it from your perspective because I feel like that showed you to have patience even today, bro. Like, would you say that? Would you say that? Like
Definitely, bro, definitely. I mean, I still, every day, I have to, and even now I have to have more patience because they're older. Yeah. So now, each one of them showering, and I don't even live there no more, but I mean, I go to the house and being grown up around girls like that, and, you're careful with the way you talk to them, you're careful with the way, that you gotta respond no matter what, you gotta defer roles,
You feel like you learned a lot of that, like, I don't want to say subliminally, but like not explicitly, like your parents didn't tell you to do certain things? Oh. You kind of just learned as you went?
I got very few explicit, instructions.
It was all implied.
Yeah, I never really got, hey, let's sit down and this is how you do this. This is how I got, hey, way, apúrale pues, But no, patience.
On your own, pretty much, then, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And, learning how to mediate things with 4 girls, my little sisters. I have 2 older sisters, 4 little sisters. 3 older sisters, actually. One of them's like a half sister. But, and then my little brother. But learning how to mediate, by the time I was like 12, I'm watching a bunch of little kids.
Definitely.
And so now I know, like, I'm so ready to be a dad, like if I could be a dad like tomorrow, but not that I'm, I don't even
It's the best thing ever, bro.
Yeah. Hey, bro, I want to be a dad
ever.
so bad. Don't even tell me. You know what
I mean? Nah, I feel it, bro.
I want the family unit, G.
Of course, bro.
Hard.
It'll change your life, bro. It's the best thing.
I need like 4 minimum, though. So it's kind of all bad.
Definitely, huh? Nah, I feel you, bro. I want to talk about, like, pressure, bro. Like, it's from your parents. Because I've asked a couple of other people I've interviewed, bro, like, how they deal with pressure.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like the pressure first comes from our parents. I don't want to speak
No,
generally,
yeah.
that's like the first time we ever experienced pressure, but we talk about that, bro, especially you being a student, like, and then being of Mexican descent, bro.
I mean, yeah, bro. And I feel like it's even the pressures that, for me specifically, I've always been especially good. Like, I'm not the most emotional person, you know. I'm not gonna sit there and get super anxious. I've never had like that.
Okay.
You know, I can think objectively, and I could do it most of the time, and I can do it pretty well.
Yeah.
You know, but so it was never so much as far as like I'm gonna let people down or whatever, because I know I'm doing my best and I know it'll be all good. You know, as long as I know that I'm not making decisions to go fuck around or to go fuck up, you know, like when I could be doing better for myself. As long as I know I'm, you know, staying true and doing what I gotta do, you know, to the best of my abilities.
You're not in denial.
I will never, you know, if I come short, I come short, you know, but that's not gonna happen. But you know, if it were to, well, that's what it is. You know, I did my part. I know I could go home and feel honest, you know, but as far as like self-induced pressures, you know, it's like feeling like I owe something when I don't, though. When I feel like I gotta, you know, get my family out of the position they're in just because of, you know, the set of circumstances I was born into.
Definitely. Okay,
you know?
Talk about that.
But it's not so much as far as like I'm not actually letting them down, but I'm letting me down if I know I could do something to make a difference.
Yeah.
You know, I know for damn sure I'm gonna do something. You know,
Definitely, bro.
But that's self-induced. You know, self-applied pressure.
That's yourself. It's not so much coming from them.
That like I know and you know, like I know they're not gonna, you know, think I did something wrong, but I'm gonna know for sure that I could have done more. You know, forever.
Yeah.
And so.
Damn, bro. I never really heard it that way, because I feel like most of the time, bro, our position as their children is kind of like we gotta help them out, right? And we do. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like, oh, you don't not trying to help out your parents. You are, but at the same time, you're trying to say that it's not your fault for certain situations.
Yeah.
And since you're thinking objectively, you're gonna do your best.
Yeah.
For yourself, and that self is gonna play out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, talk about that type of pressure, that self-induced pressure and failure, bro. Like when you do let yourself down, how do you deal with that? Like, I'm not saying you let yourself down on purpose, but I mean you have failures.
No, yeah.
You come short sometimes. How do you deal with the backlash of that? Do you still look at it objectively when you fail?
I mean, bro, I feel like I try to, whenever I can, bro, at every moment, you know, and everything. I feel like emotion, for the most part, you know, very, very often, very infrequently, let's put it, will emotion help you? You know?
Okay, yeah.
It's not very often that.
Like, what do you mean by that?
You're gonna respond better to a situation by reacting emotionally. You know?
Okay, yeah.
Like,
because I like talking about emotions and like how we make decisions based on emotions.
Yeah,
so I want you to elaborate on that, bro. Keep talking about it. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's good.
Talk about it, because that's something that's really interesting to me.
Like, let's say I failed the math class and I was tripping balls, you know, like that's been my bread and butter my whole life. That's what the fuck I came up off was these numbers, you know? But, and out of nowhere, this class is hard and I'm not putting in the hours, I'm not putting in the work. And I was telling myself, you know, I got to, and I started putting in work towards the end, but it was too late. And you know, it's a whole nother conversation, but I've had to learn a lot about how to be a student and how to, you know, I've learned about so much about being a man just in the last year, you know?
Yeah, of course, bro.
Conversations with grandpa, that shit's crazy. We'll get onto that too.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro. I like that.
My grandparents are big. But you know, like I was sitting there the day that I found out I failed that class and I was gonna have to retake it, and that's like, you know, how expensive these classes are. Like this summer I'm taking 3 classes and it's almost $5,000.
Yeah, bro.
Like $4,700,
yeah,
bro,
dude.
for 3 classes.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, dude.
You know?
That's a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah. And so, but I was sitting there, you know, and I failed that class, and I was like, I didn't know what the fuck to think.
How'd you feel?
I was like, hold up, what just went down? Yeah. And the final was 50%, so it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
You know, it was like I could have passed with a B or I fucking failed.
Yeah.
You know, And I was just sitting there, and you know, I wanted to at first, you know, I wanted to panic and like it's all bad, my mom's gonna be all mad,
Yeah.
da, 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 da. But I don't know, bro. I could very quickly just like, all right, well, now that changed, you know, now that these are the new conditions of everything, what are we gonna do about it, you know?
I like that, bro, because how do you distinguish that, bro, with, like, I don't know, someone else, bro, some external person could look at you and be like, bro, this guy does not give a fuck, bro. This guy just failed the class right now and he's fucking chilling.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But you explaining it right now, it's not that you're just fucking chilling. You're dealing with a new circumstance you put yourself into.
It's the most efficient thing you can do is
because
just get over it.
What done is done, right?
You
Yeah.
know?
Well, yeah, exactly. It's about efficiency, and then the efficiency itself helps you progress, bro. You're not gonna sit there and dwell for the next quarter like, fuck, bro, I should have passed that math class, or else I wouldn't be sitting in the same math class right now. You're doing it like, well, fuck it, dude. It's gonna cost me money. I'm in a different position right now. I fucked up. I took accountability already. Well, fuck it. I gotta take it again.
Exactly,
but I feel
bro.
like sometimes, bro, people look at that as like, oh, what the fuck? How is it so easy for you to knock shit off your shoulders? Like, you're not knocking shit off your shoulder. You're not putting an emotional attachment to it. You're not, you know, you're detached from the situation in the sense where like, well, I fucked up, bro. What else can I say? You know?
It's like, bro, you could cry 1 tear 1,000, but those are the new conditions, you know?
Yeah,
if
bro.
you have a problem and you lose your head, now you got 2 problems. You know, like.
Yeah, bro.
It's like.
That's fire, bro. Because that's true, man. And it's cool that you keep your cool, bro, in a situation like that. And I'm not saying that anybody or nobody can do that, bro. I think thinking objectively is a skill, and that anybody watching this or listening to it, you can do it, because your emotions are the basis of that, bro. I like that, bro.
Bro, they can comfort
fire.
you, but they can be your enemy.
Hell yeah, bro. That's fire, bro. I like that, bro. That's cool, man. Because, yeah, like I said, bro, the whole skill of thinking objectively and not sitting there and dwelling about what you did and what got you there. You could blame the world, bro. You could blame the professor, like, fuck the professor, bro. His teaching style, you know, fucked me over. There's no way I was going to pass that class. Or you could be like, you know what, I fucked up, didn't put the hours. What are we going to do about it? Well, I got to pay another fucking 2 racks for that class, retake it, and let's do it again. You know what I mean? I like that, bro. But one thing I want us to talk about, bro, is like your grandparents, bro. How have they influenced you, or like what kind of conversations do you have with them?
I mean, bro.
And how did it help you out?
All 4 of my grandparents were born in, you know, Mex,
Yeah.
and all 4 of my grandparents were working in Chavacanes, working Uvas,
Yeah,
you know,
like
that's
labor
where I
work.
come from, you know. This is Huelga bird shit,
Yeah.
you know. Fucking si se puede a la vida, you know.
Yeah,
but
dude.
and recently, now that I've been, you know, getting older, my grandpa that I'm really close with has, you know, been a bit more honest with me, you know, been unafraid to like tell me the real stories of like what shit was like in Mex, you know, and how he came up off of, and like coming up off no food, and you know, you're starving all day at school, and you get home and your mom's just crying because she still don't got food.
Yeah,
you know?
of course, bro.
And there's not, you know, and
That's
or
real
she's
shit.
roasting peanuts because that's
Yeah.
what y'all got. You know, and she still got to ration them out because you could only have a couple peanuts on Monday, couple peanuts on Tuesday.
Yeah, bro.
Because otherwise, there's nothing. You know, like that shit's like, it opens my eyes, you know, to like, it's not that far away, you know, and I'm here fretting bullshit, you know,
Yeah,
in
dude.
perspective, you know, if we're putting things to scale, I'm over here fretting over fucking nothing, you know, like.
Yeah, dude. That's the real shit.
And it's like, you know, like thinking this generation is not so far. He has memories of shit I can't imagine, you know?
Yeah.
No plumbing, no electricity.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
showering outside in cold water. Like, that's crazy shit, bro.
Yeah,
crazy. Like, and it really helps ground me, you know? It helps put my problems in perspective. Like, I have an issue. I don't have no problem. you
Yeah.
know? Like,
Yeah,
I have
bro.
a concern. I have a complication. I don't have no problem, you know?
Damn,
And not
bro.
to say that people can't have, and I don't mean to, you know, discredit or devalue
Of
other
course not,
people.
yeah.
You know, people have, if it feels real to you, bro, you feel what you feel. You know, you can't help your emotions sometimes, you know, if you don't know how to deal with them. So, you know, some rich person's, you know, problem that they got the wrong trimming on their brand new garage might feel just as
Yeah.
real. You know, it
Yeah.
might feel real to them. Their whole fucking world might be shaken to its
Of
core.
course.
If you're used to getting what you want, it might be the same, you know, degree of emotional damage and response.
Yeah,
I
bro.
can't be the one to gauge that, you know?
Exactly.
But
Who are you to tell someone else?
yeah, I like, just like, you know, you hurt somebody, you hurt a girl, whatever, and you're gonna tell her what I did isn't that bad. It's not up to you, bro.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta go do your thing, Twitter with your thumbs until she is or isn't ready to talk to
Yeah.
you. You know?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's crazy, bro. And I mean, your grandpa, both your grandma and your grandpa talk about this, or like?
Yeah. Well, my grandma, she was a girl, so
It's different.
like her dad had it bad, but he would like make things happen for her, you know. But my grandpa was the boy, and he didn't have a dad.
Dude, that's some real shit, bro. That's some real shit, because I feel like we've been talking about the objective part and the perspective part, bro, and I think those two are very important to progressing, bro. Not so much, in every aspect, bro, career wise and your self development wise, and that's good that you mentioned that, bro, because whoever's watching this might be going through something right now, and we're not discrediting their problem or however they see it, but what we're saying is that you can overcome it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether, however long it takes you, like you said right now, she might not be ready to talk to you.
Might not ever, you know.
You're not the judge of that. The only person that can do that is the person, yourself. You know, when it comes down to yourself and your problems. But I like what you said, bro. They're not problems, they're issues.
Yeah.
They're concerns. How can we, you know? What would you suggest, bro? What helps you, bro, when you talk to your grandpa and like you're in this conversation, you're talking to your grandpa, he's telling you a story, man, and you're attentive. Like, are you already like thinking of like, damn, bro, about your life at the same time, or do you take it and then later on like, oh damn, bro, I gotta humble myself, or keeps staying humble?
I mean,
how do you do that?
I'm an attentive listener, bro, but it immediately, you know, as soon as I'm realizing what he's telling me, you know, it's gonna start, you know, processing to some degree that, you know, this is applicable to my life. Of course it is, you know. It's another person, another human being. Any other human being has experiences that can be applicable to your life,
exactly,
you know, because
bro.
You're also a human being.
Yeah.
You know, by that grounds, let's go. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. You know?
Of course, bro.
And, you know, just recently, there's just so much, like, just all the experiences, you know, that's just realizing it one day, like, damn, like, that's, and it's obvious, you know, yeah, that's my blood, yeah, that's my grandpa, but, like, his experiences, I'm an extension of him, you know, like, just as my grandkids will feel like an extension of me, you know, and they're only going to become, you know, they will exist the day that I decide to set that ball in motion. You know?
Exactly.
And in the same way that I came to exist because of what he set in motion, and he came to exist because, you know, and not to get all sucked up into ancestors, you know, it's not like that, but it's
someone had to get the ball moving.
You know, like, it's interesting to me that, and it's more so recently, I also was just, I had a moment where I was just, you know, I've been trying to, first of all, it came with the realization that anybody with experience, you know, people that have seen more life than me, you know, seen more fucking trips around the sun or whatever, like, they know things, bro. It might be the simple lessons, but even just little things that just took me a couple years to learn, realizing, you know, what kind of, you know, just like watching the way that I carry myself and watching the impact I leave on others. That took me till now to learn, you know.
Yeah.
But what will I know by 25? What will I know by 35? Yeah. You know.
You set those goals for yourself, like, or you kind of just let it unravel on its own?
I mean,
because a lot of things are out of your control. I mean, you have control certain
definitely.
things, but a lot of things are out of your control. So, I mean, like our grandparents, bro, like they've seen shit, bro. There's things that they were put in without their control.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But how do you? I want you to continue saying what you're saying, bro. Like, what do you set those goals for you, or?
It's more so the way the thought process played out was, I was thinking about how, like in high school, you know, and I'd be all excited, you know, maybe there was a bonfire that Saturday, and fuck yeah, I was gonna be there, you know, and I might get a makeout session, you know, I might get a chick to sit on my lap by the fire for a while, you know, and that's how the game goes, you know. But if I didn't go, I would have been fine. You know, it didn't matter looking back. Not that I regret any of those little things that I attended, but there's so many things that I spent my time on that didn't matter, or I would have been fine without, or I would still be the same man without.
Of course.
You know, probably could have not kissed a girl till college. I would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not saying I'm super down for girls, but just saying, like, there's a lot of things you realize that weren't necessary to, like, that you could have been okay without. And like a lot of those parties I didn't need to go to, maybe if my grades were a little bit higher, maybe I would have got a couple more $1,000 in scholarships. Yeah. You know, and
that's all hindsight, bro. That's all experience.
Yeah, it's hindsight, and I think all those things that I didn't know at 17, 16, you know, like here's all the things I could have cut out. What I think about now, and I'm like, what about when I'm 25? What am I going to look back at right now and be like, I didn't have to do that. I could have been, spending my time better. Or what about when you're 35 and you're looking back at a 22-year-old? Like, what are you thinking? You're like, oh, I remember my first marriage, Or you're 45 and you're like, oh, I remember my first daughter going to high school. That's a whole nother, there's levels. There's different levels to problems, bro. You hit the next level. All right, oh, now you're a grandparent. I remember when my kids stopped visiting me. That's a whole nother issue to tackle. You're going to get through that one day, Like, just like, what, and then it starts to make a whole lot more sense why, a 60-year-old man or 50-year-old man might be spending his whole afternoon just working on that ugly old green car, because what else is there to do? It's the simple things, it's the little things and it starts to make sense,
Definitely, bro.
But why not take shortcuts,
Of course.
Why not try to look forward and cut out what I could be cutting out right now? Let's do it. What I'm gonna realize later, let's cut it right now.
Yeah.
Like, that's
some real shit, bro. It's fire, bro. I think that's important because you need mentorship like that. For example, would you label your grandpa as a mentor?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. So I feel like you cut the learning curve like that, bro. Whether you read books, that's a form of mentorship. Whether you know people in your family who've seen shit is mentorship. Whether you meet someone who's a lot better than you, like in any aspect, is mentorship, right? And that's my purpose with this podcast, bro. I want to, like you said pretty much the purpose of this podcast, where other people's experience, like we might not have experienced it, but they do, and I want to share that. You know what I mean? So like that's fire, bro. So I mean that's pretty much it for today, bro. I don't want to cut you short.
No, that's good.
Before we head out, bro, is there any like message you want to say to the viewers, listeners? Anything you're trying to do with your music, with your perspective? I know we talked about it a lot, bro, and I like this interview a lot. But any last words?
I mean, if we talk about a little bit about perspective, I don't want to sound too much like I'm trying to spread some crazy message, bro. But recently, I guess I've learned a lot about being, careful with yourself and careful with, the energy you're leaving behind. And I've been feeling a little more spiritual, and I used to think a lot of that shit was corny, bro. But nah, energy though, energy's real, bro. Real energy's shit. For sure. Yeah. Like, just mindful with. Definitely. Your positivity, mindful with what you're reaffirming. Are you agreeing with negative or positive statements? Like
definitely.
Ridiculing people that may never hear it, but for what? Like, like even just lately, even just a funny haircut on the street isn't as funny no more. You know, because in that shoes, I got that trasquilada. I'm hurting.
Just feel it, bro. I appreciate it, bro.
Just feeling the other side, bro.
Definitely,
I don't
bro.
know.
Appreciate you, bro. That's
feel the other side, bro.
That's right, bro. Thank you for stopping by, bro. Thank you for the conversation. And once again, man, I appreciate the people on the show and my purpose on this show as well. So there you have it, guys. That's number 5 in the books. Efrain, aka F. Check out his music.
Been in the building, perusing the premises.
There you guys have it. I hope you guys take a knowledge nugget out of this, whether you're watching or listening, wherever you're doing it, however you're doing it. Keep striving. We're out of here.